Hello and welcome. It is 10 o'clock. It is the 29th day of December, the 29th day of Vlogmas. This trash fire of a year is almost over. It is time to reflect back on what is my personal vote for RPG of the year. Now, this was the Ennies RPG of the year, and Gamma RPG of the year. The Origins Gen Con RPG of the year was Teens in Space from Renegade Studios. I've ordered my copy of that. It hasn't shown up. I also have Mork Borg, which was the silver second place role-playing game of the year. I don't know a lot about Teens from Space other than it's based upon, Kids on Bikes, which is an amazing role-playing game. Completely different way to look at the whole, meddling kids, style of role-playing. It's a great game. So I probably agree that, based upon what I know, Teens in Space probably deserved its awards. But I don't have a copy, so I can't be for sure. But I do have a copy of Aliens and Mork Borg. Now, Mork Borg, as a system, and the way it's put together, seemed better. I think the reason why Mork Borg won is the art. Or art punk, as they're calling it. Art punk is not a word. So, but as best role-playing system, best role-playing game of the year, I don't know. I don't think so. It's just because the system isn't that great. It's nothing we haven't seen before. The setting is interesting, but, we've already seen a ton of doom and gloom. The world's going to end, grim, dark RPG OSR flashbacks. So, Alien uses the Year Zero role-playing system from Free League, the same system for Mutant Year Zero, Tales from the Loop, which we know is probably my game of the decade. And I think, their Twilight 2000 is going to be using this system. So Alien, it's a very good system. Unfortunately, it is written in such a way that you need special dice and special cards. Now, obviously, you can play the game without the special dice and the special cards, but it kind of leans towards you kind of have to have the special dice and the special cards to play Alien and Mutant Year Zero. Tales from the Loop doesn't have has special dice, but it doesn't have the cards, which is interesting. Or it does, and I just never noticed. But yeah, so you need the special cards and you need the special dice to sort of play this game. You can without, and there are rules for playing without, but it's obviously designed with that in mind. So that takes it away from me from, not really deserving game of the year because it's a great system. It's an amazing setting. But the special requirements sort of take away from it. I think the reason why it won just is because it's Aliens. So the nostalgia, the setting, the body horror space, the xenomorphs, the curiosity of how much of the license did they get. Because, there's so much stuff about Aliens that, never ended up in the film. There's so much stuff about the Aliens universe that are in the books that are never talked about in the movies. Plus, there's a tie-ins with Aliens and Predator and Terminator, and the Colonial Marines, and just, So part of the reason I think is nostalgia. Part of the reason is just it's a great system. Part of the reason is it's the Aliens universe. Part of the reason I think it won is just sort of this is great, which means do you also have access to this? Are we going to see a Predator and Terminator show up in this universe? Because we know those universes are interconnected. But just out of the box, it doesn't, I love it, but it doesn't do it for me because of the requirements. So that sort of takes it away from me for your game of the year, which leaves Teens in Space, which I don't have a copy of, or 1,000-Year-Old Vampire is another great game, again, and, got a lot of nominations, as is Iron Sworn Delve and Best Friends, but those are games I don't have copies of, so I can't really talk about them. I can only talk about the games that I personally have played and personally ran or personally read. So of the games I have personally played, personally ran, personally read, that came out in 2020, because I don't have a copy of Teens in Space yet, this is going to have to be my game of the year, just because despite everything, great system, great setting, great ideas, great concepts, open to just so much space potential. And it's just one of those things where you wish space games, science fiction games were more popular than they are. So 2020 Game of the Year, Alien. Game of the Decade, Tales from the Loop. There's just no question. My 2010 to 2020 Game of the Year is 2017 Silver Gold Award winner, Game of the Year, Tales from the Loop. This is just such an amazing game with such an amazing story. I just love it. I can't say enough about how much I love Tales from the Loop. So there you go. There's my 2020 Game of the Year. Now, obviously, I didn't play any of these games. I didn't run any of these games. I only got to play 5e, and we've heard about my 5e experience, and they've only got to run 5e. I tried to run a superhero role-playing game, but it was on Zoom, which took away from it, and the three individuals playing didn't really understand the genre, so they just sort of played it as murder hobos with superpowers, so it didn't really work. 2021, what do I see as being the theme? Obviously, more D&D. I'd like to see more superhero games get played, obviously. I don't know why they're not. I don't know what we can expect from 2021. I think, as the real world gets darker, the media world offers more bright, escapes from that. So when the real world is dark, like it is now, role-playing in media tends to be all about hope and breaking through the darkness. So I'm thinking, games that sort of stay away from the darkness and stay away from the hacky slashy and get more towards like experimenting, games like Best Friends, games like 1,000 Year Vampire, games like Mass might be the games that really break through next year, but I don't know. Anyways, thank you for being part of the OGGM Adventures, and I will talk to you later.